Planning a trip to Disneyland Paris but unsure how many days you need? Whether you want to do a short magical getaway or have a full Disney immersion, I've got you covered. Today I'm going to break down exactly what you can get done in 1, 2, 3, 4 or even 5 days in Disneyland Paris. So let's go. If you're going to be visiting Disneyland Paris for just 1 day, you're going to need a solid plan. Disneyland Paris has 2 parks, Disneyland Park and Walt Disney Studios Park. But if you've got just 1 day, I recommend focusing on Disneyland Park because it is the biggest, has the most things to experience and probably the most magical. If you are going to be focusing on Disneyland Park, then you are in for a treat. It has some of the best versions of Disney rides in the world, so I would go in with a plan on what you want to ride. I would recommend things like Big Thunder Mountain, Hyperspace Mountain and Pirates of the Caribbean because they are next level amazing. Disney is famous for its entertainment, so it's absolutely worthwhile trying to catch a parade and of course the stunning nighttime show. A day to Disney is not complete unless you've seen the fireworks, and Disneyland Paris has the amazing Disney Tales of Magic. Not only do you have fireworks, you also have projections on the castle and down Main Street and drones. Something I would highly recommend if you are going to be doing a 1-day visit is considering getting Premier Access. This is a way to skip the queue and you can save so much time doing this. There's 2 options in Disneyland Paris, Premier Access 1 and Premier Access Ultimate. Premier Access 1, you pay per ride to skip the queue. So it might be that you just really want to go on Big Thunder Mountain and not wait for ages, so you'll pay for that. Whereas Premier Access Ultimate allows you to ride all of the rides that have a Premier Access queue in 1 day. This is a really fantastic way to get the most out of your visit if you are only going to be there for 1 day. And what's great is it is available to use in both parks. So if you do get Premier Access Ultimate, be sure to get a park hopper ticket. This way you're going to be able to skip the queue on the big and popular rides in both Disneyland Park and Walt Disney Studios Park. It is a pricey option, but if you're limited with time, this is the way to get the most out of your Disney day. If you are going to be buying Premier Access Ultimate, you might be wondering, can I still visit both parks in a day? And of course you can, but you will have a limited amount of time in each park and you'll probably only get on 2 or 3 rides in each park doing this. So I would recommend focusing on Disneyland Park. It's the most magical, it's absolutely stunning, you get the beautiful castle and it is the classic, so that is what I would recommend. If you're going to be visiting Disneyland Paris for 2 days, then you're going to have enough time to get a taster of both of the parks. You have 2 options here. You can either buy tickets where you visit 1 park a day or park hopper tickets. Now I would still recommend park hopper tickets because you might not need a full day in Walt Disney Studios Park, so then you'll still have the option to go back into Disneyland Park, and because there's more there, that's a really good option. However, if you are looking for a cheaper way to visit, then you could get the ticket option where you visit 1 park a day. Walt Disney Studios Park has fewer rides than Disneyland Park, but it does have a lot of incredible shows. So if you're going for 2 days, be sure to check some of these out because they are world-class Broadway level shows and they are absolutely incredible. Some of my favourites are Together and Mickey and the Magician. So if these are on, be sure you fit them in. With 2 days, you have a bit more time to explore. You won't need to rush as much, which is absolutely fantastic. However, if you are wanting to fit some more in, you do still have that option of getting Premier Access 1 if there's particular rides you really want to get on and you don't want to queue. With 2 days, you'll get to experience rides and entertainment. However, character meets can still be very, very long. So if you're only visiting for 2 days, I would highly recommend doing a character dining meal. This way, you get to meet multiple characters at once and you don't waste time. You're going to be able to have an amazing meal as well as meet lots of characters at once. So this is really good if you have a shorter itinerary. And if you are staying in a Disneyland Paris hotel, make sure you take advantage of extra magic time. Here you get to go into the park an hour before everyone else and the queue times are much shorter. So this is a really, really good way to get on those big rides like Crush's Coaster or Big Thunder Mountain with a much shorter queue time. And by utilising this benefit, you're going to get more into your day. So you absolutely can get a real sense of the magic of Disneyland Paris in 2 days. If you're going to be visiting for 3 days, I think this is the sweet spot. This is the amount of days I would recommend as a minimum if you've never been to Disneyland Paris. Visiting for 3 days gives you enough time to explore both the parks whilst also being able to take in character meets, entertainment, amazing dining and not having to rush so much. You also don't necessarily have to purchase things like Premier Access, so you can save some money this way because you've got more time to fit things in. If you are visiting for 3 days, I would highly recommend park hopper tickets. This way you can bounce bounce back and forth between the parks. And what's really, really good is you might want to do a morning in Walt Disney Studios Park, but that evening see the nighttime show in Disneyland Park, or vice versa, and it gives you complete flexibility, which is fantastic. The great news is if you are staying at Disneyland Paris Resort, your package comes with park hopper tickets, so you won't need to pay any extra for them. They are included. However, if you are going to be staying off-site, do be sure to factor in your ticket costs and consider whether it's worthwhile getting the park hopper option. And of course, if you are staying in a Disneyland Paris hotel, make sure you use extra magic time just so you can maximise the amount of rides you can fit into your day and save queuing for those big popular rides. If you were going to be visiting Disneyland Paris for 4 days, then this is an epic trip. I think this is the perfect amount of days to visit because you can fit absolutely everything in and not have to rush. You can also relax, spend some time maybe hanging out at your hotel, going to the pool, things like that. You're going to have enough time to fit in all of the rides that you want to do. You'll probably even have time to go on some of them multiple times. You can meet characters. You can have fantastic themed meals in some of the amazing restaurants at Disneyland Paris. You can explore Disney Village, visit the hotels to see the theming, or even meet characters in costumes themed to the hotels. And of course, you'll get to see shows, parades, and the nighttime spectaculars. Disneyland Paris has so many different amazing facets, so I would highly recommend, if you're there for a bit longer, doing a table service meal. You have amazing themed restaurants such as Captain Jack's, where you're inside the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, or Bistro Chez Remy, where everything is oversized as you are shrunk down to the size of a rat. Now, the table service meals are a great way to relax and unwind, and because they take a little bit longer, they're perfect if you are doing a longer trip. With 4 days, you can absolutely take in much more of the entertainment. Disneyland Paris will have multiple different shows on across both the parks. There's evening entertainment in both of the parks, and there are sometimes multiple parades depending on the season. So you will have Stars on Parade all year round in Disneyland Park, but this summer we're going to be seeing the music festival season where we get a brand new parade. And if you're going for a longer period of time, it just means you can have a mixture of all of these things during your trip. A 4-day trip also means you can take it at a slower pace. You don't need to get up at the crack of dawn every single morning to have extra magic time. What you could do is have some mornings where you get up a bit later and it's a bit more relaxed. Other days you might want to have an early evening and maybe have a meal at one of the restaurants, relax at your resort, go to one of the bars. 4 days is my personal favourite length of time to visit. It gives you enough time to do absolutely everything, but your days still feel fully packed, and it's really, really great to be able to take things at a bit of a slower pace, but you're still getting to experience so many things. So 4 days is my personal favourite amount of days to visit. However, if you're going to be visiting Disneyland Paris for 5 days, you are in for the ultimate immersive experience. With 5 days, you can do absolutely everything in the parks and more than once. You also get to take things at a slower pace. You don't need to be getting up super early and going to bed super late every single night. You have a real opportunity to explore your hotel. So you might want to go for the pool and go into the sauna and relax if you are staying in one of the Disneyland Paris hotels that offer that. You can meet the characters at your hotel. You can also do a lot of things inside the park, like take in the secret details. You can go and explore the pirate ship in Disneyland Park. You might want to go into the cave system in Adventureland, and be sure to fully explore Sleeping Beauty's castle. Upstairs you have an absolutely stunning range of stained glass windows that tell the story of Sleeping Beauty, and don't forget to go underneath the castle for a surprise. With 5 days, because you have so much time to play around with, you won't need things like Premier Access. Here you're going to be able to go on all of the rides at least once. Most likely you're going to be able to go on them multiple times, which is fantastic. So whichever ones are your favourite, you're going to get to go on over and over and over again. You're going to be able to do lots of character meets, see all of the shows on offer, and it's just a really, really great way to get the full Disneyland Paris experience. So how many days should you visit Disneyland Paris for? If you're going to be visiting for just 1 day, be prepared to maybe do just one park, or splash out and purchase Premier Access Ultimate to fit more into your day. If you're going to be visiting for 2 days, you're going to get a taster of both of the parks and get to experience some of those awesome, incredible Disneyland Paris rides. If you are going to be visiting for 3 days, this is a sweet spot. This way you are going to be able to experience rides and shows and get a really great sense of everything on offer in Disneyland Paris. If you're going to be visiting for 4 days, you are going to have an amazing time because you're going to have enough time to do absolutely everything you want. As well as the rides and entertainment, you can have nice meals in table service restaurants, meet characters, and you'll also have time to relax. You won't have to rush as much. And if you're going to be visiting for 5 days, you're going to have the ultimate Disneyland Paris experience. You're going to be able to do absolutely everything on offer and do your favourite things more than once. And it's a really, really good way to experience the entirety of Disneyland Paris. So how do you decide how many days you're going to need in Disneyland Paris? Here are a few things to consider. First up is the time of year you're going to be visiting. If you are going to be visiting in the summer months, the parks are open longer, so you can fit more into your day. However, they are busier, so you may need to do more days to fit things in. If you visit in the winter months, the parks are open for a shorter number of hours per day, but there are far fewer visitors, so you can fit a lot more into shorter amount of days. And the cost can also be something to consider. If you're visiting in high season, like school holidays and summer, the prices are more expensive. So you may want to do a shorter number of days to make the trip more affordable. If you were to visit in the winter months and avoid Christmas and New Year and school holidays, it's much more affordable to visit. So you may want to have a bit longer in the parks. I would say no matter how you visit, you're going to have a fantastic time. So it really just comes down to the time of year you want to visit and your budget as to how many days will be perfect for you. Let me know in the comments how many days you are going to be spending in Disneyland Paris on your next trip. If you do like to know more tips and advice, then do subscribe to my channel because I make lots of videos helping you to visit Disneyland Paris like a pro. And also be sure to check out my planning templates and my trip planning services on my website, which I will link below. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, I hope you have a most magical day. Bye bye.